Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mustang Blueprint. I am Celie Stockmo here with Paige Klopocki and also our amazing guest today, President Dr. David Jones. Give a hand for him, guys.
Gotta emphasize the doctor.
Yes, I am so excited to talk to you. I know, not to put the spotlight on me or anything, I was supposed to be at track meet today, and when it got canceled, I kind of did a happy dance because I was so excited to be here with you. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you.
She texted me immediately and she's like, my meet is not happening. Yeah. I can do it. I'm like, yes.
I know. I was so excited. So I guess just to get things started, tell us just brief summary, like, who are you?
Sure.
Who is Dr. President David Jones?
Well, you know, I'm a track and field supporter because I did watch you on Sunday.
You did, guys.
Out of
I was going to bring that up later. You're bringing up the good stuff right away.
Right away.
Right to it. It was fun I'm all the Mustangs compete.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah, that was definitely fun that way. Mm-hmm. So a little bit more, I guess, about me. Obviously, I'm just very fortunate to just have been named the permanent president here, and I think it's the 11th one, somebody said, and
Yay.
and since February 18th, so you do the math, almost 2 months.
Yeah,
around there.
Yeah. So it's been an incredible honor to learn more about Marshall as well as this campus. And prior to that, I have 14 years at a school just east of us within our system, and so I've got some familiarity with Minnesota in our system. So that part's been good as well. And I actually have across my career in higher ed. Before that, I worked at the University of Alabama as an assistant vice president down there, and so big Roll Tide football kind of fan. It's hard not to. Winning's fun, right?
Winning is fun.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then before that, I was at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, so a basketball school.
Wow.
Doing that. So yeah, big sports school there as well. And then before that, and I also did my doctorate at the College of William and Mary in Virginia, our second oldest school in the United States. So it's kind of fun. Yeah, a lot of history there. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then before that, I worked at and did my master's at University of Nebraska at Kearney. Mm-hmm. So in the middle of Nebraska there. And then my first career actually was. Before that, I taught high school outside of Des Moines, Iowa. So yeah, as a social studies high school teacher and advised Model UN for any of our listeners who might have done that. That was what my gig was when I was 23.
Wow.
Holy cow.
I always forget that Model UN is a real thing and not something that they do in TV shows. So the fact that you say that, I'm like, wait, that is an actual thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so you've been at a lot of places. You have, your resume is big, right? So did you ever think that this is the direction that you would have taken that with, or did you want to just stick with like high school or stuff like that, or did you think that you were gonna be the president of a university?
You know, as you kind of make your way through your career, you know, fortunately, I've been very lucky to have been surrounded by incredible mentors and people who really believed in me, and as I came across new opportunities, they were quick to share that, hey, you know, I see something in you. You might want to think about this next step. Mm-hmm. And so each of those next steps, kind of whether it was from a high school teacher, went back, got my master's, thinking I'd go back to maybe be a principal someday, superintendent, that kind of thing, but learned that I liked working within the college environment. And so I was a hall director, ran a residence hall or a dorm. And then somebody's like, well, you like this stuff. Why don't you look at trying to become an assistant director, or the number 2 in a department, and then eventually the director. And each step has kind of been encouraged. And I will say in the last probably 15 years, you know, a couple of people have started you ought to think about trying to be a president, because we need people who have the best interests of students when they're approaching these jobs and everything, and really being able to connect with stakeholders outside the campus to tell the campus story. And those are things, honestly, I like doing. So while it's a job and it feels like work, it's a real honor to be able to use those skills and try and hopefully further, you know, everything we're trying to do here at SMSU.
I think a testament to just keep on growing, keep on moving forward. And also, like you said, I'm going to touch on that again. Big resume. You've been to a lot of different places. And I even look at an athlete, who would want to leave Alabama? Who would want to leave Chapel Hill? So what drew you to Marshall, Minnesota? And especially knowing that you were only the interim right away. You didn't have a solid, it wasn't promised.
Right. Have you ever heard of a panino?
I
I
can't
think
say.
that's a joke. That's not the reason I came. So I was just saying, like, that's what everybody told me when I first, like, this opportunity. You had to go there because of the Paninos.
Yes.
Oh,
I
at, at the one place.
Yes. Yeah.
The varsity pub.
Yes, the varsity pub. I still haven't had one. I've been told they're good.
I
though.
have. They are really good. You would like.
Oh my gosh.
I will help. I'll go with you
Okay,
one
so
day.
They just got a
So-
free plug. You guys got to milk that later.
So other than the panina, though.
I would say, so here's, if you look across the commonality of all those places I listed off, each one is a public university. And when you look at my family background, both my parents, well, my mom went to a private, all women's college, but she was a high school teacher. She was an athletic director. My dad was an assistant superintendent, high school math teacher. And my sister, my wife, we believe in public higher education. I love going to work in a place that we have responsibility for what we're doing on campus, but we're also trying to pay it forward to help society, to help the community. And those aren't things, somebody at a private school might argue, well, we do that too. But I do think there's a different level of stakeholders when you're talking about the legislature, elected officials that are really invested in what we're trying to do, not only financially through our tax dollars and everything, but we know that we want to produce sharp young adults who can contribute to the economy, to society, to civil life and everything. I like being a part of that kind of ecosystem.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Oh my goodness. So since you've been president at SMSU, even while you were an interim president, you were getting things done. Like you came into multiple of our student senate meetings and like were there for us. Like, how do you think like that dynamic, like being the interim and not having everything promised and like still wanting to like make waves and like make the campus better? Like, how do you think like, is that like a difficult thing to do? Because again, nothing was promised. You didn't know what you were getting into.
Yeah, for sure. So it was interesting. So the chancellor for our system, his name is Scott Olson, right? And when he called to offer me the job, and for those that might, he actually called me the night of Gold Rush, that fundraising event.
Yes.
So, and embarrassing enough, I'm like, I can't talk now. Can we call tomorrow? Like, 'cause we were busy. But so the next morning I talked to him and accepted the position. I was pretty excited to be able to do the permanent one. Prior to that, when I was interviewing in June, I had the opportunity to interview, for the interim position. And again, he offered it to me. One of the questions I had back from them was like, what are your expectations of an interim president, right? Clearly do no damage, right? Like, that's a simple one. But what can I do to help kind of get the campus ready for whoever the next permanent leader might be, right? And then I asked at the same time, I'm like, well, I've got 14 years experience in our system. I've got thoughts and ideas and some experiences that might be helpful. And he's like, no, you don't need to sign up or worry about anything. And I'm like, well, would you mind if I did? Just because that's part of my ethos is kind of, I want to do some stuff and be a contributor if I can and help move things ahead. As well as I've got ideas. I mean, any one of you, if you did something for 14 years within the system, you got feedback, right? You have ideas. And I'm like, well, it'd be great to be able to share that. I don't want to be shy about it. And if it works out, I'm the permanent person, great. If it isn't, that's okay too. I'll be able to sleep at night because I know I gave an authentic view of who I was and my thoughts and everything. So I appreciate hearing back. I think one of the things I found, whether it was student government or other pockets of our campus, is I think people are hungry for support.
Oh, 100%.
And one of the great things I think, whether it's professors and spending time with students, and I saw an example recently in the Fine Arts Roundup, people had an opportunity to interact, and visitors got to see the real life kind of learning interaction between faculty and students in the moment, which was incredible. But clearly, everybody's here because it's a choice activity, right? And you want to be a little bit better, whether it's throwing a little farther, performing a little bit better, being excellent in the classroom and everything. And so when someone's willing to give you a little time or serve as a sounding board, I hope that's what we're doing here, because it's going to make us all better.
I think in the world today, it's kind of like dog eat dog mentality. Like, I got to get better. I want to be the best. But I think what I'm hearing from you is that no matter what, you're selfless. You're thinking of everyone else. Do you think that's kind of a skill that you've always had? Have you always just served others? Or do you think that's something that you've learned throughout your career and just growing up?
I'd have to give my parents probably some credit in that, there's my dad was always involved in community organizations, whether it's Rotary or just other things, youth sports, coaching and stuff. So to give back kind of was just, that's what I knew, kind of what you did and everything. Yeah, it's a good question. I get energy from it, being part of it. And so I think the reality too is there's not going to be many career opportunities at this point where you are truly solo. At some point you're going to want someone to pay you. And that means you're interacting with at least one other person. So you want to be professional, approachable enough that somebody invests confidence in you by paying you to do whatever you want to do. And as you talk to today's companies and businesses, they're looking for collaborators, right? Who can help move a group farther. And so, I probably echo some of that just because that's what I've learned too.
That's very interesting. Like, I always forget, like, there are some things where it's like, oh, you do actually have to interact with, like, multiple people to get a job done. And I think, like, you've done an amazing job with that. Like, senators and, like, with student senate, they'll come to you and be like, hey, like, this is something. And then we actually see it get done. And it's like, this is something that people have been, like, advocating for. And I feel like you coming in you came in at, like, the perfect time. It was like there's things that needed to happen and people were finally getting their voice. And then you came in, you're like, I can help you do that. And I think that that's just a testament of you yourself. Like, do you think it's, like, necessarily, like, very difficult to just, like, realize, like, you're the person that people are coming to. You're the person that people are, like, thinking, like, oh, like, go ask go ask President Jones. Like, he's going to know what to do. Like, is that difficult? Is that just, like, a mentality switch? Because you've always had, like, someone else higher above you. If I'm not mistaken, there isn't really, like, another higher up other than, like, the person
Chancellor.
Other than, like, those people. Like, how does that feel, like, knowing everyone is, like, looking to you about, like, what to do?
I thank you. It's nice hearing that, but I worry. I worry a little bit that may not be sustainable in the long term, right? And so, if any large organization like a university, and we're big, right? We've got hundreds of employees, thousands of students. A singular person can have some influence and kind of move things ahead. But I think it's really how to influence the culture. So that you've got multiple people you could go to. And then what do I need to do from my seat to empower people to make sure they're giving you the ear, the room to share those concerns and then act on it, right? It to me, it'd be a little embarrassing. Like, okay, things are only getting done because the president got motivated to move somebody to do that. I hope a successful time for me here would be to empower a bunch of people to be able to, okay, how within my pocket can I help somebody?
Yeah.
There's a famous hotel chain in Louisville, and I'm totally drawing the blank of it, but it's one of those where they empower every employee, from the housekeeper to the front desk person to the door opener, to spend whatever money to make the customer experience good. And so you'll hear the Peabody hotel down there. And so there's been a story of, like, some gentleman who stayed in the hotel, left his briefcase, and it had all his information about the presentation he was giving in another city. So they sent a housekeeper on the plane to take the materials to him immediately to kind of solve and do that. I love that kind of concept, and that's an extreme example, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is every one of us, no matter what our role is here at the university, can help, can be a problem solver. And so the more, hopefully I can build that kind of culture and extend the culture that's already there related to that, I think that'll be helpful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, culture is huge. And I think especially at college, I know I came into college. I mean, we talk about movies and things. I felt like, oh, like the president, my professor, like, how should I address them? Like, can I even talk to them? But I think it's a testament to SMSU and just like Minnesota state system in general. Like, it is approachable. There is that community. And also the fact that you have done all these things. I'm wondering, what are you most proud of that you've accomplished so far at SMSU?
Gosh, how much? This is one I just discovered today. So a group of students, as well as a community member who visited the RA facility, was very concerned about some of these seating options for our students. And I just walked down there today, and I saw there's some permanent signage that's up identifying accessible seating. And that only comes from somebody who raised their hand to make that happen. I did not do that. I'm proud in that I gave people space to find the solution to make that happen. Yeah. That's a perfect example, I think, what we were talking about before. Because it would have been very simple for me to say, put a sign up.
Yeah.
Like, take care of that.
Yeah.
But it was more important to how do we start to build the muscle memory of working together to solve problems at various levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, because I've noticed them up. Like the other day, I was at a dance competition in Marshall, and I looked down, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I see the signs. Mm-hmm. Like I know how much work like went into it, and like like the people that were advocating for that, like they did it, and like everyone was just like so excited for them. But I think it's even better knowing that like everyone that like whether they had like one little bit a part of it or like was there like doing everything like in their power, like holding on to it, like every single person can like be proud that has gotten done. And I think that is awesome. So like my next question for you is just like, what do you kind of like want to do now? Like with SMSU, like what, like if you could like do anything at SMSU and like make something just like what you think SMSU needs from it. Like, what would you do? This could be realistic or not. Like, I want to know, like, if you're going to build like a movie theater, like on campus, like that would be awesome, whether it's like anything big or small.
Yeah. Next big goal, whatever it is.
I think there's a couple things that make sense. One is we have the capacity and we have incredible resources here to attract and serve more students. So that's kind of a baseline. I think this campus was designed to be able to serve more. So what can we do to introduce what happens here that's so special to more high school students to consider coming here?
Yeah.
So that's kind of on the forefront right now.
Yeah.
Some of the feedback I hear from students and conversations I've been is they want classroom experiences amazing. Once you get outside the classroom, choices are being made between I've got some part-time work, I might be involved in a team or something I'm doing, but I would like to have some other options. And whether that's a improved fitness space, recreation, intramurals, movie, activities, things coming to campus in a way that, because I think that's part of the story. When you talk to probably your parents or others that might have gone to college, are like, it's so-and-so they performed at my campus, or there's these other kind of highlights to be able to say. And I think there's ways to imagine what the solution would be to provide some more outside and extracurricular opportunities for students in a way that fits today's world. I'm not suggesting that we have, maybe the way it was in some high schools or varsity sports where there's a long season, but maybe there's a weekend tournament, kickball here or there or something like that. Then you just kind of have some goofy fun and shared experiences together. Yeah. Because the other thing too is it gets quiet on the weekend.
It does.
And so that's both driven by needs away, but also sometimes a lack of what's happening. So can we improve that, I think, in concert with students trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah. And I think that's attainable. And I think that's a big thing is having goals that you can reach.
Those are all goals that I think can be done.
And teaming up with the right people. And I think my question kind of goes off that, but a little bit back here, talking about how, you're that higher up guy, you want everyone to help. But at the end of the day, you got to make some of those tougher decisions. And I know I want to please everybody. I mean, how do you say no? How do you make those decisions? You got to choose between this and that. Does the track team want the track redone, or does fine arts need this? How do you make those decisions?
Yeah. Well, they're often not easy. I'll give you that right from the get-go.
I imagine,
any decision is good as the information that's available at the moment of that decision, right? And, one of the great things about, I think, college, whether it's personal or in the classroom, whatever, that you have an opportunity to revisit decisions, at any point, like, we now know this, we would have decided something different, right? That sort of deal. So I think to help with decision-making, I need to make sure I'm surrounded by people who are willing to tell me no, as well as yes, depending on what the questions might be. So I'm getting good counsel to be able to say, okay, here's the A option or the B option, and we can only afford one of them, right? So let's weigh everything and make sure we understand all the pros and cons with each one of those, and then make the best decision you can, and be in a position that you can be able to share and kind of explain to everybody, these tough decision, decide to go this way, and here's why, and this is what maybe you chose A because we feel like this is going to be the thing that's going to make a bigger difference for more individuals here on the campus, or whatever the reason might be. I think being transparent that way, people appreciate that transparency. Even if they don't necessarily always like the decision, they like to understand the thought process behind it.
So valid, yeah.
That's so valid. Like I would like even like getting a job, like I get the email saying like, oh yeah, like we decided like we're not gonna go with you, and I'm like, okay, but why? Like I want to know so I can be better the next time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, have there been like moments like previous time where like looking back, you're like, ooh, that might not have been the better decision.
Oh, yeah.
And like, how do you come back from that? Because I know that would mess with my confidence. Like, oh, I just messed up. Okay, now how am I gonna bounce back from that? Like, how do you bounce back from those decisions like that?
So I definitely lean on that we are a learning organization. So I mean, do not. I mean, if we're gonna, generally most decisions are not life or death that we're making here.
Thank goodness.
They can be high dollar amount, right? And in the most severe situations, there are someone's livelihood, employment, offering a job or not, or whatever it might be. And so, you try and be sound with your decision making as best you can. But have I hired somebody that it didn't work out? Absolutely. Have I missed out on somebody who was super successful somewhere else? Absolutely. You try and do the best you can, and then, learn from each one of those interactions. Like, oh, I should approach this thing a little bit different, or it didn't quite go the way I wanted, or what I shared was interpreted differently than the way I meant it to be. That's probably the most common one we all come across. Like, no, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, exactly. Like even like with texts. Like I'll text.
I was just gonna
I'm like,
say.
I would rather have someone on the phone or like a FaceTime call because I
Right.
can't understand what people mean during text.
Yeah.
Like my mom, she'll send K, just a letter. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, you can't say that. Please don't say that. Tell me like your actual feelings.
Yeah, because I imagine too, you're communicating in a lot of different ways. I mean, we were just talking before this, you have those scheduled meetings, weekly, emailing, calling,
Yep.
traveling, and everything. We talked about how you were in Mankato for our meet and everything, supporting. And going back to what we just talked about, when things don't go your way,
Yeah.
what are some healthy things that you turn to kind of promote balance in your life? Because, I mean, I assume you kind of want to have that separation, like you're at work
do.
and then you're at home.
Yeah. So big into some recreational stuff. So last night I rode the Camden State Trail for the first time this season. So yeah, I brought my bike to campus and rode from that trailhead and all the way out and back. And so that was good. And I use that time. I like running as well. I use that time to reflect, help me kind of think through a problem I'm kind of stuck on, and different way to create it and come through with it. And sure enough, that, I came up with a different, more creative way to kind of solve it and figure out things that way. I love water sports, from kayaking, swimming, scuba, sailing, all that kind of stuff. And so that's another kind of personal passion as well.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, someone might have told me, I don't know if this is true or not, but did you bike across Iowa?
Or run?
Or like run across Iowa?
I biked across Iowa last year. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I did.
How was that? Like someone told me that. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah. Do you like corn?
well,
Because you're going to see a lot of corn.
I like to eat corn. I don't like to see it on the side of the road.
Yeah. So every year, I think it was 52nd annual bike ride. It's called RAGBRAI, the Register, which is the Des Moines newspaper, annual great bike ride across Iowa. RAGBRAI is how they spell it. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. It's always been a bucket list thing. So my wife and I did it, and the whole week we rode across the state of Iowa, and that was fun. We did it like the biggest day. I think there was almost 50,000 people on the road. It is a massive. It's the largest bike ride in the world. I think it's massive.
You were a part of history.
I was.
Wow.
That's
Short time.
awesome.
Yeah.
Goodness, you can put that on the resume too. Like part of the biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
That won't get me free soup. Like, come on, that's nothing.
I guess my next question then, you obviously are devoted to that health, that fitness. What is like maybe your next goal or next big thing that you're going to be a part of?
Yeah.
Gonna
So
bike across the Mississippi River.
I know.
Go down the Mississippi.
I am. It's funny. I don't have anything. So I tend to try and be a person who always signed up for something.
Yeah.
Because that motivates me to work out and do
I'm the
whatever.
same way, yeah.
And I do not right now. Oh. So that's. I'm trying. There's
You're
a
gonna
gap
find
here. I need to
something.
solve. Yeah. So we've been talking about doing. My wife and I have been talking about riding our bikes across Missouri on the Katy Trail. It's an old railroad trail, one of the first ones in the U.S. that was converted to bike trails. So we might try and do that in June, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I need to find something.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone canoeing and kayaking down the Mississippi.
Cool.
Yeah, like, well, it wasn't necessarily down the entire Mississippi. It was like we were started in Minneapolis and then ended in St. Paul, or like vice versa.
Yeah.
So
Part of it.
I went kayaking down the Mississippi River.
That's all you had to
cool.
say.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how far it was.
Yeah, don't tell
I
anyone that
went.
part, yeah.
Exactly, right? So if you need to go there, like, I got some friends there. They're
Perfect.
awesome, right? But now I'm kind of like, I'm looking back at like the first time like I had met who you were. I had no idea who you were. Because it was during Gold Rush days and I was on the side of like a road, like telling people like, oh, this is where you go.
Yeah,
And you would
down
come
the
down.
corner, yeah.
You would came down and you
I remember
started
that.
talking to me and like the other person I was with. And then like you like started complimenting us. She's like, you're doing a great job. And then you left. And I turned to the girl next to me. I'm like, I have no idea who that is. And she looked at me and she goes, I think that's the guy who's like being the president. And I'm like, really? He just came to talk to us in like a full suit. Okay, it's like 90 degrees out.
Okay, King.
I'm like, okay, like get it. And then like the more and more like I see you on campus, the more I realize I'm like, you do thrive on like those connections. Like you went up and talked to 2 random people on like the corner of the road. So have you always been like that type of person to like be kind of like extroverted and like go and talk to those random people? Is that normal for you, or is that just like, I'm here, like this is my first time, like I need to get to know those people?
So this will be a little surprising. So I am an introvert at heart. I know. So, but I have picked an extroverted job.
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
This is a very
And so, yeah, it's kind of funny. So I know I need to interact, right?
Yeah.
And it is fun interacting and doing all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'll find it's draining. And so I do need to, whether it's the bike ride or a run or a walk or something like that, to kind of reflect and kind of re-energize in that sort of way. But I think, I mean, when you're lucky enough to serve in the role that I am, you're an ambassador, right? And so representing students, the community, the campus, and out in so many different ways, it's fun to make sure you take every one of those opportunities to tell the good things that are happening here, or the small word of compliment, like, hey, thanks, and you're doing this, because it makes a difference in someone's day, I hope.
Yeah, it definitely did. I was like, I felt confidence. I'm like, oh my gosh, like someone actually like acknowledges us. Like we're standing on the side of the road, tooting our whistles at people, like holding up a sign, and you just came down and talked.
And those were long days. Those were long days.
Those were
And
such
hot.
long, and that was the first full day. Oh my goodness, that was a
and I
long
mean,
day.
you don't realize the impact that you have on people. You know, I think that's something interesting that even I've been learning recently, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Another thing I think of here, just talking about the way that you live your life and how you've reached your goals. Obviously, there's a lot of mindset there and training your mindset.
Yeah.
And you just said just now, like, I'm lucky to be in this position. And I'm sure it doesn't feel like that every day, right? You got to change that mindset to, I get to do this, I don't have to.
Right.
So maybe what are some of your biggest like mindset tactics, you could say?
So that's a great question. And it really builds on the last answer in that. So when I was young in my career, I had an opportunity I was at a crossroads. I had an opportunity to get a high school teaching job in upstate New York, where I grew up. A job offer kind of also presented itself to me. At the same time, I was planning on going to enroll at University of Nebraska-Kearney to start my master's in community counseling. Excuse me. And all of a sudden, I got this job offer, and it was like totally a 90-degree turn. Like, that's not what I was anticipating. So I remember called my dad. I'm like, hey, I've suddenly got this job offer. Should I abandon going to grad school, take this job? And I kind of talked through it and everything. And he asked some really good pointy questions about what do I value? What do I like? And so I had 2 to 3 days to kind of think through the job offers and ultimately decided I was going to go to Nebraska to finish that master's. I felt like that was the longer term best investment in my time. But I came up with a mantra, and it's still, so I was 22, 23 at that point, and I still ascribe to this thing every day, and it is, how can I help someone's day be better? How can I help? Let me say it again. How can I help you be better today? And so that's the way I approach each day, and sometimes that has highs and lows to it. So sometimes it's a compliment, dropping a note to somebody, hey, congratulations, or I saw. I've got 2 notes going out to 2 high schoolers who just recently won the creative writing contest that was here on campus, and just compliment them. And it's kind of cool, right? To get a letter, probably. Yeah. And so, but it also can mean, let's say there's an individual who's just not quite mature enough to be here, right? And they're struggling, and they need a different type of support than the university can provide. That may mean breaking up for a little while, that also might be the right decision for that person.
All right, well, we're just getting down to time. So do you have any like final words, like lasting remarks or like advice to like students just like in their everyday life? Like it's almost summer break now for us.
Yeah.
Like what do you want to say to those like those college kids or the people even beyond that? Like
That are watching this.
Yeah. Any advice?
Yeah, well, obviously you're heading into summer, so you have an opportunity for those students who may not be taking some kind of summer learning experience, whether it's online class or class somewhere else or something. It's an opportunity to kind of expand and think differently about something. I encourage you to pick up a book, listen to a book on tape or something like that might give you an opportunity to think differently or learn about somebody else's path to kind of think through. And I think one of the things that you don't fully realize until you get past college is that, reading's a big part of it and consuming information. But you're being asked to read certain things, right? So it's an opportunity to kind of give your brain a break and try something a little different, but still learn something that might be of interest. So I encourage a lot of students, if you're taking a break, still pick up a book and find something of personal interest that you might grow yourself.
Oh yeah, love a good book. And I know I am excited for the rest of the year. I'm excited to see where you continue to grow in your position and where SMSU goes. I'm going to be here for a while still, so that's super exciting. But for everyone on set here, me and Paige, we are just so grateful you were able to join us tonight.
Yes.
And yeah, just continue to tune in to more episodes of the Mustang Blueprint.
One of the things I talk about in my workshop too is that not a lot of us slow down enough to listen to our own voice and how important that is. Because a lot of times we have the voice of the critical mom, the harsh coach, the people we grew up around that the opinions we think about ourselves are actually just the voices of people that we have grown up around and the people whose opinions were maybe important to us. There's a book, The Power of Writing It Down, I think it's by Allison Fallon. And she talks about this, how writing is one of those things where you have to learn to listen to your own voice. You have to learn to pick out your voice versus the voice of, all the people that you've put value on over the years.